We got news for you from The Guardian. Police are now investigating links between the Brown shooting and the killing of the MIT professor. Yo, this is actually really crazy. This MIT professor was a fusion scientist. Fusion energy.
Oh, yes.
Bro. Do you guys understand what this means?
No, explain.
All right, so we recently got fusion ignition. This is a few years ago, which means like a miniature sun. That's very reductive into what is actually happening. But this is the point at which they could sustain a fusion reaction. This means they can produce a ridiculous amount of energy for almost nothing.
Oh, wow.
Basically, gasoline on crack. Just boom. And this guy was researching it. If we can figure out how to get energy out of the system, dude, it's going to make your energy costs like pennies on the dollar.
Right.
And so when you get a guy who's one of the lead researchers working at MIT getting shot multiple times in his own home in the chest, the first thing everybody thinks is like, yo, did homie have a breakthrough in fusion energy that was going to shut down the oil industry? So they took him out?
Hey, man. Exxon sent that hit. That's crazy.
Well, if these two are linked, I know it kind of downplays a bit of the conspiracy, but if these two are linked, that to me tells me this is a schizophrenic. This is someone that just spends way too much time online. He gets radicalized about Republicans and conservatives. If it's true, like his motive for shooting this woman. And then with this is just someone that was a For You page American. They spent way too much time online.
Israel, for no reason, claimed it may be Iran. I'm not kidding.
It's talking about investigating whether it was Iran.
Yeah, and they're like, we have no reason to believe it was, and we're not suggesting it was, but we are investigating that it was.
Look
and I'm just
here.
like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, because the
talking about
U.S. and
important
Israel
net?
went after their nuclear program, and they're going to return the favor.
No, because it said
our
because the
nuclear
professor
program.
recently said pro-Israel things, and I'm like, dude, shut up. However, there was a really funny bit. I don't know if you guys saw it from that comedian. I forgot. I didn't get his name, so sorry, brother. But it was a fake press conference where he said, "Please stop referring to the shooter at Brown University as the Brown shooter. We don't need to add racism to an already tragic event."
Do you know how big of a problem it is? So you know, like in your email, how you'll get like these offers for personalized T-shirts, and they'll take your last name and they'll put that on there. I always get like advertisements. It's T-shirt. It's just it's a brown thing. You wouldn't understand. Like, one just said brown energy on it. Like it's giving brown energy. I'm like,
Bro,
I hope I'm not.
you should get those shirts.
Yeah, brown energy. So
And then walk around like Harlem or something.
Just stop showering.
I have a simple question. Where was the campus police?
Not around.
Yeah, you know, they have
I mean,
guns
President
and-
Trump himself said, like, what's the deal with the security camera
Yeah, that's
situation?
crazy.
My favorite thing in this, did you guys see this picture right here where the feds, there's like 8 guys,
Looking
and
around
they're
the
just
ground.
kicking the snow? And it's like,
What's this?
you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when you're at work and your boss is walking down the hall and you immediately just start pretending like you're typing something and you're playing Tetris or whatever.
As a Timcast employee, I can't relate to that. I'm sorry.
Oh, I know. Yeah, Tate's always at the grind. You know what I mean? Every time I see him, he's just working really hard.
So true.
You know? Isn't that crazy? I've never seen him
crazy.
slacking off.
On
crazy.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Finding stories.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Finding
it's
So
stories.
true.
I was thinking yesterday if this could be connected to the oil industry trying to kill this guy so that but fusion, it doesn't produce fuel. It like fuel are things you can pick up and carry around. So you got petroleum, you got carbon, hydrogen, and plutonium.
Right.
If somehow this fusion program was helping them get to plutonium fuel or hydrogen, I mean,
No, Ian, you misunderstand. Petroleum becomes fuel. We get energy out of that. We get a lot of energy. It's really good. Nuclear is a little bit better. Fusion would be the biggest. It would make energy very, very cheap.
but you can't carry it around with you. Like you can't fuel. You can
No,
take,
but
you
it can power homes in the grid. That's
on
the
a
point.
grid. On a grid.
So we can right now. I think half the grid is coal. You know?
At least, yeah.
Powered by Santa's hard work.
You know, it's just. I mean, why theorize conspiracy? I was trying to read
I know
about
where
like
this is
what
going.
happened.
I know where this is going. He's going to start saying something like they should be focused on graphene.
Who should be focused on
fuel
graphene?
cells with graphene lattice batteries. Oh, okay, we get it.
No, I'll hold back. It's tragic. This
Finally,
is absolutely
finally.
tragic.
Yeah, it
47-year-old quantum physicist or whatever he was, plasma scientist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now the crazy story about this, I guess, it seems like they're not doing their jobs, and you know it's funny because I'm getting a lot of people complaining because I said Dan Bongino did the best he could, and he's quitting. I assume you guys talked about this yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like the idea that Dan Bongino got there was like, all right, guys, now I'm going to be evil. I was like, yeah, that didn't happen.
Right.
Dan Bongino did not get hired by the FBI and say, now I'm going to pretend to do as much as I can while going to the beach and eating gingerbread.
Yeah.
No, he probably tried as hard as he could, and he couldn't do anything because the machine is crooked.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, I'm quitting after 8 months. What's the point?
I made the point on the noon live that him being in the FBI and now stepping back into the podcast space probably will be of more value to us than if he just continued
It
being
also
the deputy
scares the shit
director.
out of me, though.
I think so.
Like, dude, if not Dan Bongino, then who? You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
that's a very salient question. Yeah.
he gets in there, gets nothing done. To be fair, Cash and Dan did a lot of street level policing, which is good. But look at this, these FBI guys walking around kicking snow.
Right.
What is this?
Well, and if you are to believe the Axios reporting, he also did not see eye to eye with Bondi on a lot of things. So it's even up for debate if there was even cohesion with the Trump people, let alone the deep entrenched, apparatus within the FBI itself.
I gotta say, right? Because we were just talking about like the AmFest stuff. This reporter was asking me like, what's the future going to look like in the political space? And I said, Democrats have a track record of being lunatics, so I'm not going to vote for them. But Republicans going like neocon round, I'm not going to vote for them. So I honestly don't know. But what I can say is Trump as a person, I like what he's done. B minus, C plus, except for the people he hires.
Right.
First time around, he hires a bunch of deep state garbage. Second time, he hires a bunch of old women with plastic surgery. I'm not trying to be a dick to the old ladies with plastic surgery. I'm making a statement of fact, not a derisive one. It is literally older women that he's largely given these positions to, and they've got a lot of plastic surgery. And so I'm questioning whether or not could there have been better choices.
Sure.
I think everyone agrees that he could have made better choices. And we ragged on him the first time for doing this. And he's maybe his idea now was like, I'll just get people who are going to do what I tell them to do.
Like Carolyn Levitt, he's like, look at her pretty. Did he say pretty face? Look at those lips. And it's like, that's what he wants is the
And
spectacle.
then Vanity Fair posted that picture of all their like injection sites or whatever.
Yeah. Was Dan was up in as high res as they can to make her look bad.
I think that was Trump's strategies. He wanted people that were loyalists that could simultaneously get approved by the Senate. Because that's the limiting principle in all of this is that if you got like these super base nominees, they would get shot down.
Matt Gaetz.
The reason you can push someone like Dan Bongino probably would have gotten held up in the Senate, but the deputy director is just directly appointed by the president. He doesn't need to be approved by Senate.
I kind of feel like I'm bored of all this as well for the same reasons most people are. And we have to just make fun of it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we're not laughing, we're gonna go and we're gonna get depressed. I mean this is sincerely. Like earlier we were making these jokes about Olivia Nuzzi blowing up RFK's butt and him enjoying it, and it's funny and we're all laughing, and that kind of brings the joy back to being in talking about these things because we've been so serious for so long. It's so depressing.
When you're young, it's kind of cool to be an activist, an anti-establishment activist. Like, yeah, down with whatever that is. But as you get older, you kind of got to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Or stop complaining, or you're just going to be angry and miserable complaining your whole life.
For sure.
Well, the reason why the 2024 campaign from Trump was so different feeling was because he brought in a lot of these, and the coalition expanded to bring in a lot of these comedians, these entertainers, and these sorts of things, and it gave some energy to a Republican candidate that's never been there. Not even really in 2016. 2016 was mostly organic from the people, but the people in the Trump orbit were still kind of these stodgy, conventional Republicans. 2024, you saw the coalition expand because of Trump's character in a lot of ways, because he just invites those types of people, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, it had a certain flavor to it that was really distinct, and it was actually the opposite problem for Kamala. She had all these orbiters who were just like these super serious. Oh, Trump's like Hitler 2.0, and it's like, I'm going to go with the people that are having fun.
I think part of the reason why Trump attracted so many people in 24 is because so many people were disillusioned by COVID, right?
That as well.
The 4 years that Biden was in office, people really saw how dishonest the government had been, and arguably Trump might be a little bit responsible for that because he didn't fire Fauci early in or late in his last year and stuff. But there were so many people that once it kind of came out that social distancing was BS, wearing a mask was BS, all these things came out and people were like, well, I just don't trust the government. I don't trust the Democrats because they're the ones that are in power. So I think a lot of people, once they started to be able to discuss these things, once they saw the rollback of the censorship that was going on YouTube and stuff, they started to say, well, I don't want the guys that were doing that, and Musk buying Twitter and changing it to X, that was also a huge issue for people. And so once that was kind of established in the public zeitgeist, then they were like, well, we can't support the Democrats. And even still, there were still a lot of people that voted for Kamala Harris, even though she was, had 3 months and was arguably the worst candidate the Democrats have ever produced.
Oh,
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think an underrated aspect of all this is what you said is Elon buying Twitter was a massive game changer because it didn't just affect Twitter. Is all of these other social media platforms had to react because they didn't want to get lapped by X. If everyone that was getting banned from all these sites who were just normal people rushed into X, it would have put them out of business, especially because X was like aggressive with video and these sorts of things. So everyone, we always discuss, on the show, like, oh, if you go on Instagram Reels, you're going to see some really wild stuff. And the reason for that is because Meta had to roll back a lot of their draconian moderation in reaction to X's new policy.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.